Hello, everybody, and welcome into Last Call. A pleasure to be with you today. Nathaniel Finch, that is Caden Colford. We've got a great show ahead of us. We're going to start with some men's basketball talk at the University of Indianapolis, talk about the women's team after that. Then we move on to some professional sports. How about a big weekend in the NFL? After that, some college basketball. Purdue, IU, big games there. The Pacers at the end. We've got a loaded show, but the best part, it's not just the two of us. We're going to start with Josiah Tynes. He's the point guard for UIndy's men's team on a 12-game win streak. This guy just had his career high in scoring in that win against Lewis on Saturday. Looking forward to that conversation. It's pre-recorded. We're going to go to it. It's only the first 4 minutes, though, so if you want to hear the full conversation, that'll be on YouTube, same way you're watching this. So let's get right to the interview. You guys are on such a hot start so far to the season. What's that like, these last 12 games where you're beating up on everybody and by a mile each game?
It feels great, man. We put in a lot of hard work in the summer to build up to this point. So, it's a lot of hard work that's paying off. That feels great. And then just to, hit our stride at the right time. We want to go into tournament play as the hottest team so we can carry over and make this run for the national tournament.
What's been the difference this year compared to the previous 2 years?
Our teams are always close, but there's something about this team. We only care about winning. Nothing else really matters as long as we win. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Everybody on the roster, from coaching staff to players, main goal is to win.
You've been with Coach Corsaro since his start in 2020. How has he kind of evolved over the last couple of years to where he is now and leading the team?
Yeah, I've known him when he was at Purdue Fort Wayne too. He was recruiting me there. Just for him, he's an intense guy. Real passionate about the program, real passionate about winning. He's been more patient this year, and which is, for him, he knows it's a step in the right direction. And it's given us a lot more confidence to go out there and not worry about making mistakes and just going out there and having fun and playing the best basketball we can.
Did you come to UIndy because of Corsaro when he joined?
I did.
That's awesome. That's good to see. So take me into last week. We'll start on Thursday. You guys are at UIS. The closest game you've played in about 2 or 3 months at this point. What was that like at the end of the game, when you're down at the under 4 media timeout and you guys just found a way to win?
Coach Corsaro, man, he makes practices real tough. We do these things called 4-minute games a lot. It's just 4 minutes on the clock. Sometimes we're down, sometimes we're up trying to protect the league. So, we're prepared for those types of games. We've been itching for one, like I said last time, because we've been blowing teams out. And those games are fun. We like those. We enjoy those type of games, so it was good.
And I'd asked you this at the game, but when you're in the moment and you're on the free throw line, or that shot that you had in the corner, your three from the corner when you guys are down, what's it like taking that shot? What was the pressure like on you?
That's what you come to college basketball for, man. You see on TV, people hitting big shots, and you put in all the work in the summer when people aren't watching, extra shots for those moments, so that you're confident and ready to step in and knock it down. So, nothing extra, just no added pressure. I'm built for that type of moment. So,
was the celebration a little bit different post game than other games?
Yeah, it was, for us, it was still an ugly win. No win is a bad win, so we enjoyed it. But we could have cleaned some things up on the defensive end. We hang our hat on defensive end, so it was an ugly win. But we found a way to get an ugly one.
So you guys hang your hat on the defensive end. You're the #1 defensive team in the conference, but you also have the #2 offense in the conference. What's that like to be able to have success on both ends?
Yeah, it really starts with defense. Our team, if we get stops, we're able to run. It's hard to run when you're taking it out the rim every time. So our philosophy is, if we get stops, run, push it down the court, and offense is going to be easy. We have talented enough players that offense will take care of itself.
So enough about all this. How about on Saturday when you hit your career high in scoring? What was that like knowing, does that set you up well confidence-wise? You can score just about anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that 19 was my career high, but I just felt good going into warm-up. Again, just coming off the game on Thursday, my coaches, teammates telling me, if you're open, knock it in, play with confidence, step into shots, that type of stuff. Anybody's liable to do that on any given night. That's why one thing I like about our team on Lewis, it just happened to be my night, so I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Welcome back to Last Call. Nathaniel Finch, Caden Colford, a new face. His name is Jace Hodge, and we are here and ready to talk about some men's basketball. So you just heard that Josiah Tynes interview. If you want to catch the rest of it, that's on YouTube, so go ahead and catch the rest of that interview. But as far as the conversation now, UIndy men's team. My goodness, guys, they are so good. And Jace, you were at the game at Lewis. I was at the game at UIS on Thursday. It's been an impressive run for these guys.
Yeah, 12 wins in a row for the men's basketball team. How about that? 10th nationally ranked was. They won 81-70 at Lewis on Saturday to move to 18-2 on the year.
I love the mentality this team has, right? We were in Illinois Springfield on Thursday, and wow, what a game. It was so gritty from start to finish. In the fourth quarter, we were holding our breath a little bit. I mean, we haven't seen them play a close game like they did. Both teams, neither could really get anything going, and it was really just who's diving on loose balls, who's getting the boards, right? And it was UIndy that came out with the win.
And with that Thursday game, they started early, was it like a 13-point lead early in that first half, and then just watched it evaporate. Really, you heard Josiah talk about they just had an ugly win. They played some ugly basketball for a while. But then you get to the under 4 media timeout. Like he said, coach says, hey, we've practiced 4-minute wars all year. This is nothing new. We're just down. They were down by 4 or 5 points at the time, and all of a sudden they go on a 9-1 run and they win the game. I mean, that was an impressive win on Thursday.
Man, I love that terminology, 4-minute wars, because like I said, that's exactly what it was. It was a war all the way throughout, and then they come out in their next game, and against Lewis, they looked pretty solid.
They looked really good in the first half, especially 41-28 was the score at halftime. Second half, they just coasted the rest of the way home. Tynes was phenomenal. Saw him there in the interview, 19 points, 4 rebounds for him. So was Bingham, 18 points for himself, also 4 rebounds. Just a phenomenal team win there.
Tell me about Bruno Williams. His first game back, he's from Lewis, transferred, was an all-conference player there. First game back, how was the feel for him? I mean, yeah, I see the stats, but what did he look like out there?
You could tell there at the end of the game, once the game was ending, when Corsaro took Bruno Williams out, they hugged each other. You could see some emotion there on Williams' face. So obviously pretty emotional. Played there for 3 years. You know, it was a long time there, and he came over to UIndy this year, and he's been a great asset to the team.
One thing about Bruno Williams is I love the prowess with which he plays on defense. He's really a leader of that defense, an elite defense at that. And as we talk over and over again, the defense is what creates their offense, and there's a reason they're so highly ranked.
Big win for them against Lewis. 112 now. They're continuing to jump up the poll. They're ranked 10th in the last media poll, so we'll see what it is when it gets released tomorrow afternoon. But I'm excited to see how this team can just keep rolling. How about this upcoming weekend, though? Thursday against Truman State. Truman, not quite the same Truman that we've seen the last couple of years. They're not a highly ranked team. They're only 10-11. Really graduated some guys. However, they just upsetted UMSL, who's number 17 in the country. So Truman's going to come in ready to fight. It should be a good one. What do you guys think about that?
That's the thing about the GLVC. We talked to Coach a couple weeks ago. The thing about the GLVC, there's no easy games. There's no nights off. Everyone comes to play each and every night, and it's no different with Truman State.
Especially with Truman State beating UMSL. UMSL's a really tough team to beat. They're ranked 17th, like you said. UIndy just beat them recently too. But Truman State, they will fight for every game. They are always close, and they'll give UIndy a run for their money.
That'll be a great game Thursday night at Nickerson Hall. It'll be on UIndy TV. The broadcast to start at 7:30 or in that area. It'll be after the women's game, so be sure to tune into that. This UIndy men's team, they're fun to watch. You do not want to miss it, so tune in Thursday. We also have a game on Saturday afternoon for UIndy against William Jewell. Should be a fun weekend, and you can catch both of them right here on UIndy TV. Let's switch gears, guys. How about the UIndy women's team? Not the same story of success over the weekend at Lewis.
No, they lost 68-53, but they have won 3 of their last 4 games. They've been on a bit of a roll recently, still 4th in conference play, but was a tough loss. They couldn't really get the offense going for certain times, but still, there's some things they can take away from that. They can feed Sadie Hill more, they can do other things, but tough loss there.
I mean, yeah, not seeing anybody in double figures. It's a little bit of a red flag, but this team, talking to Coach Mark Mitchell last week, he said that they're a selfless team. Everybody knows their role, and everybody plays their role well, so I'm looking for them to get back on track.
It would be more encouraging if you've got, your leading scorer has 7 points if it's a win, but you only put up 53 and, you lose by 15 the way you did. You kind of, like you said, it is a red flag that nobody was able to really put up some points on the offensive side of things. So, yeah, it's sweet that you've got 3 players all leading the game in scoring, but it's only with 7 points. You want to see that at 11, 12, 13 points. So I think that's the one thing, though. They need to do a better job getting some points up on the board because you're not going to win many games in the GLVC putting up 53.
Not at all. And Lewis went on a 24-2 run that spanned the end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third quarter. That really got them the advantage because UIndy was winning 25-23, but then that run put Lewis way ahead of the game, and UIndy just couldn't come back at that point.
What led to the run? What was different from that beginning?
Lewis was playing some really strong defense, and UIndy was putting up some tough shots that kind of hard to make. They were making some of them at some points, but UIndy just couldn't get the shots they wanted.
Tell you what, though, Caden, you and I were at the UIS game on Thursday. They looked very good against the Prairie Stars. A big win for them there, and still was it 20-plus turnovers, and yet they won pretty handily. So, it's encouraging in that regard that they're still able to put up points in that game. But you got to do better against Lewis.
Yeah, we saw their personalities coming out of that game. They walked off the court with a win, but if you were to put a camera on them, it wouldn't necessarily look as such. That they were coming off, they're kind of disappointed with their performance, and then they come out in this game, kind of a similar story, just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, but they got Truman State as well on Thursday. Truman State, really good team in the conference, 11-2 in conference play, one of the best teams in the GLVC. But UIndy at home, a lot different than they are away. What we've seen, UIndy's a lot better at home, so I'm sure they can give Truman State a run for their money on Thursday.
And Jace, this is a team that started really slow, right? But of late, they're really starting to come on. How about the run that they've gone on for UIndy? So, they didn't have the most promising game on Saturday. I still feel like they've got, a good chance, especially at home, to be in any game.
Yeah, and then, coming into the year, whole new coaching staff, it's always hard to get used to that, Always going to start out slow, getting used to the new plays, new coaching staff, new everybody, really. But I think recently they've been a lot better, and this team can really give any team a run for their money.
They're going to be playing Truman State this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be our first ever all-women's broadcast for UIndy TV. I'm not going to be a part of it. You two gentlemen, we're not going to be a part of it. So we're going to have an entire women's crew from top to bottom. Really excited for this, so make sure to tune into that one. That will be at 5:30 on Thursday. They also, again, play William Jewell. That'll be at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So a couple home games. Come out and watch them, but if you can't, UIndy TV will have the coverage for both of those. When we return, we've got the NFL coming up next. Plenty of great games to talk about. By plenty, I mean 2. There's only 2 games. We only have 1 more the rest of the season. Let's take advantage of it. More next on Last Call.